Welcome. My name is Amanda, and I'm one of the children's librarians at the Thomas Crane Public Library in Quincy, Massachusetts. This video is part of our DIY children's program resources. For more program resources, as well as live online children's programming, streaming ebooks, movies, music, TV, and much more, please check out thomascranelibrary.org. Today, we're going to put the E in STEAM with some simple engineering. What can you build out of paper? How can you get a single sheet of paper to hold up something heavy like a book? Today, we're going to learn how to turn a simple piece of paper into a stronger structure and use lots of paper to do lots more. All you'll need for this activity is some printer paper, some newspaper if you can get it, some tape, and that's it. Let's get everything together and get started. Here you see, I've gotten together my paper. I have a couple of pieces of plain printer paper. Nothing special about it. It's not cardstock. It's not any heavier or thicker than normal paper. And I have some newspapers. Again, nothing special about them. They're just normal newspapers. We're going to put the newspapers aside for now and work with just the paper. Now, if I take a sheet of paper and I try to stand it up, it's just going to fall. How can I get this to stand up by itself? Well, let's try folding it in half. Let's give it a little bit more structure. How about now? Well, it's still not super strong, but it's a little stronger than it was. I'm definitely never going to be able to lay a book on top of it. But what if we make it even stronger? Let's put lots of folds in it. We're going to do what's called an accordion fold. And we're going to try and keep it as even as possible because we want it to stand up nice and level. Level means that the top and the bottom are laying the same way, and it's not tilting or tipping in any way. So we're going to make sure that our edges always meet up at the top and bottom of our fold. Now you can see I've made a folded piece of paper. Now when I try to stand it up, it doesn't fall down. Let's see if I can lay a book on top of it. Success! Our piece of paper, all by itself, held up an entire book. You can see both of my hands. I'm not holding it up in any other way. There's nothing else behind it or around it. It's just that piece of paper. See if you can fold a piece of paper and make it strong enough to hold up something heavy, like a book or maybe something else. Now let's try making something a little more involved. Newspaper. Newspaper isn't very strong on its own. It's even thinner than regular printer paper is. How can I make this strong enough to hold something up? I could try folding it, or I could try rolling it. This is where the tape comes in. It's not going to stay rolled up on its own. If I let go, obviously, it unrolls. We're going to roll it back up together. And now I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to tape so that I'm catching one end and going around all the loose ends. Now, that might stand up on its own, and it's probably pretty sturdy. But it's tall and spindly. Now, what if we tried to use newspaper to make something strong enough to hold a whole bunch of books? I bet we can do it. So, I've got one roll of newspaper. Let's make a few more. I'm going to use a few pages each time. And then make sure that my ends are level. You don't want a whole lot sticking out of one end or the other. You want it nice and even. Sort of like we did when we folded up that other paper. Now I have two rolls. Let's see. I also want all of my rolls to be about the same size. I don't want one a whole lot thicker than the other, so I'm trying to use the same number of pages every time, or close to it. Now I have 3. Let's do one more. Now you can do this with regular printer paper, but I think it's fun to use old newspaper like this. Whenever you can recycle for science, that's a plus. Now I have 4. Now here's a problem. This one is a little shorter than the others. I must have used a slightly different paper. Let's make a different 4th one. Engineering involves lots of measuring and paying attention to things like height, depth, things like that. You're going to have to pay attention to the size of the things that you're making and whether they match up. That's better. That's more like the other ones I already have. No. That's fine. We'll pick that back up. All right. So now I have legs. Let's see. What could I put on these legs to hold other things? How about more newspaper? I'm going to fold some over and lay it on top here. I'll do it flat like that. Let's see if I can lay more books on top. There's one. There's another. And another. And another. Think I can do one more? Now you'll notice I made sure that they're all stacked together. I don't want them all over the place, or else my entire tower might fall down. I was very careful to make sure that I'm putting all the weight in one place so that it's over all of the legs. You don't want all of the weight over only 2 legs or only over one side. And let's see why. Let's try moving all the weight so that it's on one side. Yeah. As soon as we try to move everything to one side, we've made everything unstable. Now that we've tried building a simple structure, why don't you try to build a more complex structure at home? Can you use newspaper rolls like this to build a stool strong enough for you to sit on? I bet you can if you try. If you do, let us know on Facebook. Thanks for watching today, and we'll see you next time.